And generally, Virginia traditionally has been a Republican state. However, in the last 6 or 7 years, it has turned Democrat. How come? Because more Democrat voters are in the states than Republicans. And they have won perhaps the last 10 elections. So that's done pretty good. And a year ago, the polls showed that Joe Biden was 10 points ahead of the Republicans, which is very good. However, for some reason, the election which is coming up for the governor of the state, for some reason, the Democrats can't seem to get their voters out. So what do you do if you can't get your voters out? You bring in the big guns. Who are the big guns? Former American President Barack Obama.
Oh, yeah.
He went along there, but the polls haven't changed. Then they brought in the current president, Joe Biden.
Oh, that's not going to help.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say that.
Then they probably try the Clintons next.
So, again, the polls haven't changed. So who are the two candidates? The Republican nominee is a man called Glenn Youngkin. He is quite well known. He's making the news on all the networks across America right now. We don't know too much about it over here in this country. The Democrat, very, very well known, certainly in the Democrat Party, a man called Terry McAuliffe. And McAuliffe is somebody who, if he does not become governor of the state of Virginia in just over 1 week's time, this, the pundits say, could change everything in American politics. And that means, basically, is that, of course, next up is the midterms. Americans tend to be right now not so concerned about what happened with Afghanistan, but they're concerned about the economy. So prices are going up in the United States, there's inflation, the American government, the current American administration has not handled COVID very, very well, and the Democrats are just not enthusiastic about coming out to vote for their candidates. Now remember, Ronald Reagan started his political life as governor, and we all know how he ended up as President of the United States. Now, I'm not suggesting, of course, that Youngkin is going to become President, but it could be a very big turning point in American
Is he
politics.
a Democrat, Youngkin, or is he the Republican?
Glenn Youngkin is the Republican.
So if, just say, Youngkin wins this particular election...
It's 50-50
So it's 50-50. If he wins, what could that impact with Trump potentially? Could it mean that this would be a good thing for Trump? I want to know.
You love going back to Donald Trump.
Well, because I think he's coming back. I think he can't be written off. He's on his way back, and I think people...
We do think that,
He
yes.
is absolutely coming back.
Well, and the reason why we think that is because all the indicators are suggesting that he is coming back. When he's been asked this question, he says, I can't answer you because of rules and regulations and campaign funds, but you'll be happy with the news. So that could go one way or the other way. But I just have a feeling that he is planning to, if he can maintain his health and if he can get the support from his party. But the changing of if, we're saying if at this point, if the Republican manages to get the state of Virginia through a governor, and there's a new governor, Glenn Youngkin would be his name. If they do manage to take the state, this is a whole changing point, because next up is the midterms. And at the current stage right now, there is not a great feeling towards the Democrat Party. They're down in the polls.
I'm not really surprised at all. I mean, is anyone really surprised? The Afghanistan disaster, Joe Biden before that falling up the stairs. I mean, you know, if you fall down, that's different, but going up, it was just everything about him. He doesn't even appear to have a grip on anything. He doesn't look compos mentis when he's speaking as well. I know he has a stammer and he's worked really hard to get through that, but that just doesn't help at all, does it?
Well, a stamina is one thing, but the reason is that he's head, he is the CEO, he's in charge, Commander-in-Chief, President of the United States, and under his watch, he doesn't seem to be competent for whatever reason. And the economy, it's all about the economy. And people are very concerned about high prices, unemployment, inflation, and, of course, the COVID situation. Each state has their own rules.
How is it looking in America, the whole COVID thing? Is it looking... Have they got a handle on it?
No, I don't think they have, because as all countries, certainly in the Northern Hemisphere at this point, are heading towards the winter time, it's going to be very, very difficult for a lot in the health industry, because to determine the difference between a cold, a serious flu, and COVID, because they are very much connected in terms of symptoms. And this is the situation in the United States. Some states are calling for masks and going back to work at home, and other states, more Republican states, and you've still got a small bunch of people that feel that COVID is not a real threat. Perhaps a very small minority, very vocal minority, are still talking about how it's a whole conspiracy. And people are very influenced. And it's a shame because it's polarised. There are plenty of Republicans who support the Republican Party but have got their 2 jabs, possibly 3 jabs, their booster, and there will be another one. And there are others who just feel that the whole thing is a conspiracy, which is a shame. But Biden is in charge right now, and people feel happy when their monthly pay packet is coming into their
But he's got
accounts.
a very bad approval rating, hasn't he? I mean,
Yeah, it's not great. It's 41% at this point, which is not great for a president in his first year. It's not even the first year. It is...
not even a year, is it? It feels like it's been ages. Look at him.
Since he took office in January 20th.
God.
And things haven't gone so well.
They haven't gone
So they've
well
got
at
a
all.
lot to do in the next 12 months to really change things over. And of course, that means fundraising. So they have to raise millions and millions and millions, which is nothing in American politics. We don't have that type of fundraising situation.
But it's going to be tough for him.
And the question is, are they going to have donors who are going to take a chance on Joe Biden and the Democrat Party, or are they going to sit at home?
I don't
And if they
think
sit
so.
at home, that's where the Republicans will come in.